One of my favorite things that I've heard that my uncle taught me years ago, said to me years ago, was when you're young, you're worried about what everyone thinks. Then you get a little bit older and you say, I don't care what anyone thinks about me, I'm going to do it anyway. And then you get a little bit older and you realize that no one was even paying attention to you in the first place. I think that's a really important thing to remember because a lot of people, myself included, very often fear judgment of others, don't want to be seen as a weird person or a crazy person or some sort of extremely odd character. But realistically, no one's really thinking about what you're doing, especially if you're not sharing it publicly. You can just go in the world and take dance classes or do pottery or whatever. I don't know what you being held back from doing because you're afraid of being judged for it, and you don't even have to share that you're doing it. Obviously, these days a lot of people are sharing publicly like everything they do all the time, which is fine and good, and that does open you up for a little bit more judgment for people, but you're putting yourself on display, so you have to prepare yourself for that, I guess. But is it really so bad if people see you at the park and they think you're crazy because you're dancing around like a lunatic? If they see you and they're like, that guy's a weird, because I don't know, I can't speak for you, but I am crazy. Like, I am kind of weird and oddball, and I don't know why I would try to not be perceived as such. I'm not saying that I need to or I want to be perceived that way necessarily, but it's okay if people perceive me that way, because more likely than not, somebody might see you acting in a way that they deem odd, and they'll have that in their mind for about 3 seconds, probably even less than that, 0.3 seconds, and then they're just going to continue on with their day and start thinking about what they love thinking about the most, which is themselves. Because realistically, most people are extremely self-centered. You know, that's all they think about is themselves and their personal problems, right? And I'm that same way too. I'm always in my head just thinking about myself. So they're not going to spend a large amount of time judging someone they saw at the park, for example, someone they saw doing something. Anyway, the point of this story is you should do what you want to do and not be afraid of judgment from other people, because most likely they're not even paying attention to you. And it's actually a little maybe narcissistic to think that everyone is paying attention to you. Like, in this big world, why would they be looking at you? They've got plenty of people to look at, and they're really just looking here. They don't notice, they don't care. You can just do what you like. Anyway,